Hello and welcome back to Premier Study in Investing. Today we're going to be looking again at Oncotelic. It's OTLC on the OTCQB markets. You can see their chart here. It's been 20, 30 cents. Today we're at the low of 9 cents. And so currently trading about 10.5 pennies. You know, there's no shortage of highly speculative companies to look at. And one of the things about this company is they have patents, I should say, on Artemisinin. It is commonly been used for many centuries, actually, as an antiviral, and has been very effective in the treatment of malaria. So the fact is that the thing I like about it is taken orally, so no need to go into the hospital, no need to go into the clinic. It is currently on sale in India on Amazon, and we'll take a look at that here in a second. So they have sales, which is very interesting. Okay, so before we move on that revenue and sales jive, I think this is the most important thing we should know about before we move on. So we're talking about the Artemisinin. They're talking about it being the clinical study called RD19. Rolled 120 patients. So this is RD Shield, RD Veda. The number of patients enrolled in the RD19 trial increased. Total aggregate number of patients using RD Veda to 3,000. The RD19 trials were conducted by Windless Biopharmaceutical Limited, company's business partner in India, as part of the company's global effort to deploy RT Veda. Okay, across India, Africa, Latin America. The Windless study evaluates the safety and efficacy of Artemisinin, Misia absinthium powder, 500 milligram capsule of RD Veda in the treatment of adults with COVID. Data from RD19 is expected at the end of the fourth quarter of the fiscal year 2021. Okay, so we have interim results on that. Everything is, we know about all this. The RD19 trial was registered under Clinical Trials Registry. We looked at that, or we will look at that in this video, with 3 active sites and additional sites being added as the trial progresses and expands. RD19 was conducted with Windless as part of a plan for the company's global effort to deploy Pulmoheal, which we already saw. This is exactly what was being offered on Amazon. A product package of RD Veda. So there you go. It's the RD Veda. It's the thing in the drug trial, is what we saw on Amazon, plus our artificial intelligence cough application, RD Health, and our AI post-marketing survey, PMS post-marketing survey across India, Africa, Latin America. We continue to evaluate, seek approval, and subsequently launch Pulmoheal with or without local partners in various countries within the region planned. So they go on to talk about seeking an EUA. The thing is, it's not a medicine. I mean, they put on the packaging it's not a medicine. So can you get an EUA for a dietary supplement? I don't think you can. So I know I'm supposed to be the omniscient person when I make these videos, but I'm confused. I don't think this is making sense. I would say they don't have a drug. They're trying to get an EUA on a non-drug dietary supplement. And so the reason I say that, you can't see it on the Amazon site, but if you go over to 1mg.com, which you'll see in the prospectus, that it's part of the one of the places, the site. It's owned by Tata, so Tata is a huge conglomerate in India. But you'll see it says not for medicinal use. You guys see that right in the IMG, batch number, expiry date, 5 capsules, not for medicinal use. So, and it says Windless right there, so you can see all that. So how do you apply for an EUA for a non-medicine? It's a medicine unless it's not a medicine unless you call it a medicine, and then once you call it a medicine, then it becomes a medicine, and you can apply for EUA. Like, I don't understand that part. So I think that's really important. And I know this is a long aside, but look, we just read the top half now, the second half. In January 2021, subsequently in February 2021, the company announced preliminary results for RD19, trials for RD Veda. The interim results, they described them above, 120 patients, 3 sites, India. Reported top-line results, April 21. We've already done a video about that. And then again, they're talking about, upon completion of the trial results, that the company's objectives to file for emergency use authorization with regulatory authorities around the world, including India, the United States, United Kingdom, countries in Africa, Latin America. Discussions regarding the EUA with several of these authorities have commenced. How can you get an EUA for a what? A drug? I mean, I guess it is. Okay. I guess, we saw in some of those other clinical trials that sometimes they were using it as a dietary supplement. I think the one out of South Korea, or was it the one? I think it was the one out of South Korea. Maybe it was the one out of Princess Noor University. But one of those that we saw in the trial had it down as a drug, and the other one had it down as a dietary supplement. So I'm going to say that they're selling. I think it's confusing, but I guess I'm going to go with final answer that there are two separate things. Obviously they're selling a non-medicine right now, or they can't call it a medicine, so they got to sell it for cheap. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's that. I don't really understand the difference. If you guys know, if you guys can shed some light on that, that would be really helpful. We'll go after this and we'll look at some of the other trials that are running by different companies, different countries, which I'm referring to now. Okay? I have a couple of price targets from some companies who do private equity research, upgraded $3 to $4, but that $4 price target was before they discontinued. They discontinued the product OT101 for the treatment of the current pandemic, and that's when we saw this fall off from about, 28 cents down to about 18 cents. And then this was, maybe a short month, 3 weeks, and then we had this big fall off. I'm not sure what the big drawdown was on Monday. It was about 32% decrease in price. But to be able to buy a company for around 10 cents that has sales and has analysts with maybe a $3 to $4 price target, we'll see how they update that. But let's jump into it. I want to start the video off with this. Oncotelic closes COVID-19 trial early. This came out, June 15th. We know all this stuff. Here's the important part from the CEO. Due to the continuing rise of more variants in Latin America, leading to exhaustion of medical care infrastructure in Latin America, Oncotelic chose to stop enrollment before the full enrollment of 18 patients needed for Part 2 so that we can unblind the trial to determine the role of TGF-beta in the variants currently dominant in Latin America. This will provide us with an opportunity to assess our corporate directions as to the pandemic. The study represents a thorough and comprehensive design and is expected to yield significant data associated with a number of biomarkers and immunological parameters resulting from the treatment of the patients with OT101, and C001 is the only trial evaluating TGF-beta inhibitor as a therapeutic. And this is from Dr. Anthony Maeda, CCO, so Chief, Clinical Officer, I'm not sure what that is, and Director of Oncotelic. So, anyways, that's important. It's not like it didn't work. They decided to pull it and reevaluate, which means that they could, possibly turn it back on. Very important point to think about as we look at the rest. I'm going to actually start here with this. This is the company that has Meiteon as the old ticker. This is from Litchfield Hills Research. $4 price target. This price target came out March 3rd, 2021, and they upgraded from $3 to $4, as you see right here. So I'm not going to give you a buy recommendation. I don't know if this is a buy or not. I'm going to go through some of the information. I'm going to try to at least leave the links for you in the description so that if you're really interested in what you see, you can go and do some deeper digging, because it's definitely going to take some deeper digging. One of the things that they talk about, they have a discounted earnings. So we're talking about earnings. 2021, they're going to say we're going to lose 3 cents. But by 2022, they expect earnings per share of 5 cents. Well, you can buy the whole stock for 10 cents right now, right? So then 2023. So this is just earnings, right? This is earnings. This isn't even what the shares would trade for. So very interesting there if they're anywhere close to being right. If you want to look at some of the different ratios, things like this, EV for revenue, sales multiples, where they have the sales multiple at about 2.12. Multiple on sales. So discount to peers, they're going to claim is a 93% discount here, and then on this area, and then 88% discount on EV over revenue. So it's very interesting. Here's the big kickers, things that are important. We're here, second quarter, 2021. They're expecting $500 million as kind of a milestone payment for some work that they've done on basically getting the drug trials up to a in vivo type of results. Now, a lot of this, I don't know how it's going to shake out, because they did end, the big thing that changed was they ended that OT101 trial. They ended it early in the middle of phase 2. I guess I should jump over and look at their pipeline for you all. This is the pipeline from Oncotelic. So they have Artiveda, Artishield. It's the exact same drug. If they market it in India, they're going to call it Artiveda. If they're going to market it in the rest of the world, it's going to be called Artishield. If you take this drug, this singular drug, with whatever name you want to give to it, but if you take the singular drug and you package it in with some other stuff like an AI and a cough thing that you can use, a mobile app for your cough and some other stuff, they're going to call it the Pulmoheal. Okay. So, and in fact, we'll look at that here in a second. They have a decent blog. So this is the drug pipeline, the OT101. It's the big thrust of this company is they believe that in this basically repressing TGF-beta, so transforming growth factor beta. They think that it's a big part of the growth of tumors, whether solid tumors or melanoma or glioblastoma or all kinds of different pancreatic drugs. They also have this CA4P, vascular disrupting agent. They have OXI 4503, second generation VDA for childhood leukemia, things like that. Okay, so that's basically, and we're gonna see that a lot of this comes up in a lot of the what should I call it? The what is this called? Prospectus. Thank you. So we'll look at their prospectus, though it's long. I guess we'll jump over real quick to the ratios. Of course, with a penny stock like this, there's not going to be a lot of people covering it. The thing with penny stocks is that at 10%. At 10 cents, it doesn't take much to make 20% on your money, right? If you believe there's volatility in this. So this says price per sales, 26 times. Sales growth percent, 310%. I guess I'll populate this with industry peers just so you have something to look at by comparison. EPS growth, 1 year, 33%. What else do we have? Operating profit margin negative. All the operating profits are going to be, margins are going to be negative. So not a lot there really for us. We looked at the pipeline. This is interesting. You go over to India, Amazon.in. You look at Pulmoheal or Windlass. Windlass is the company, the manufacturer working in India for us. So you can see that it sells for 1,100 Indian rupees. It's the 500 milligram capsules. No side effects is what they claim. For chronic cough, for all kinds of antivirals and the like. Brand Windlass Biotech. You can see that here. So that's our company. You can see it on the instructions as well. Pulmoheal. What does it say? Clinically tested in India and the United States. Gluten-free, GMO. So it's I'm not going to watch that. Anyway, what does that mean in dollars if you're a dollar investor? About $15 for that. 1,100 Indian rupees. $15. There's another site that Windlass has put together for us, which has some of the nice things. Just overview what this is, how often to take it, stuff for physicians, testimonials, blog, assessment, home. It's called Pulmoheal.com. https://pulmoheal.com. You can look at it for liver safety. What if you're pregnant? Some research, some in vivo data, and some references. The interesting thing that they do have 2 articles out on, say, journals. Clinical investigation is one. They give you the link from Pulmoheal, so you can go and you can read this. I don't find that it has a whole lot of extra stuff, but I didn't read these with a fine-tooth comb. I didn't really go crazy on these things. I didn't go nuts on these things. But one thing I do want to point out is that the authors, all of the authors in both articles, have a lot of conflict of interest. So I don't want to say that they were biased in their presentation or in their science, but I mean, you always have to be a little bit dubious whenever you see that every single author has some kind of conflict of interest. So Fuyong Treyu, he is the CEO of Oncotelic, and then Saran were employed by the company Oncotelic. Then who else do we have? Author Windlass. So this is same last name of the company, was employed by Windlass Biotech, so family employee or something like that. And then this author Uckun Akun was employed by Ares Pharmaceutical. I don't know what the tie between Ares and Oncotelic, but they're here under the conflict of interest. And then it appears that this individual is a shareholder of Meiteon, and so that they were the sponsor for the clinical development of Artiveda, and there's a financial relationship that could be construed as potential conflict of interest. So I would say definitely there's a conflict of interest there. You can read through all those results. They also published something similar. This is Frontiers in Pharmacology, repurposing antimalarial cytomedicine, Artemisinin, as COVID-19 drug. Again, you see this individual, this individual, this individual, and this. It's all the same individuals that we saw already had some, some conflict of interest. So they give their whole, spiel about, what they're basically doing. I mean, why they think this worked, what the research has shown, the discussion. It's it's pretty short actually. But one of the things that's interesting, the study was funded by Oncotelic, wholly owned subsidiary of Meiteon Therapeutics. Conflict of interest, you see all the same conflict of interest, but they do give us some links to CTRI. So this is it's essentially I don't know what you call it, the online registry in India that's similar to clinical trials in the United States. So it's a registry of all the official trials that are going on. This is the one that's being run by Windless Biotech in India on RD19. You could call it RD Health, RD Veda, RD Shield, whatever you want to call it. It started back in end of September 2020. They said 7 months to completion, so it should have been done by now, but multi-center, and of course we're all waiting for those results. But like we said, they discontinued the OT 101, so that's kind of a bummer. I'll give you a real quick run through of different studies that they reference in their write-up, in their literature review. So you have MGC, Pharmaceuticals, running a phase 2 controlled study to evaluate RDC. What is RDC? It's a medicinal spray comprised of artemisinin, 6 milligrams per milliliter, curcumin, and then frankincense, and then vitamin C. It's a micellar formulation. And so anyway, 6 milligrams artemisinin. Okay, we have others. There's a number of others. I think one out of Saudi Arabia. What is this one? We'll go up to the top. Efficacy during Artesutenate in adults with mild. This is done by Princess Noura bint Abdulrahman University. And so they're looking at this, but they don't expect it to be done. Last update, 2021. It's what, phase 2? Phase 2? Okay. I'm going to spend a lot of time looking at these, just to let you know that other people think this is interesting. This is kind of azithromycin, so Z-Pak, often it's called, and then cytomedicine with anti-malarial drugs. That would be our drug. And then hydroxychloroquine as well. So they're going to be looking at, what is it? Where is it? Anyway, Institute for Research of Medicinal Food and Plants in Guinea is running this one. What else do we have? A university, looks like effort out of Korea, phase 2. They're using Artesutenate, 60 milligrams. And then who else? We have University of Kentucky. What do we have here? Ivermectin, and then a dietary supplement, Artemisinin annua. So this is essentially the same thing that came up in Artemisinin annua extract capsule. So for a company that has 10 cents in sales, I don't know if this is a buy. I mean, I really don't. We can go, it takes a lot of work to work through basically their investor presentation, their prospectus, because a lot of the information in here is older. So it talked about some of the different compensation or you could say. So you can get a lot of information if you start on page 63. It'll tell you right from the get-go, RD Veda is the name when it's marketed in India, RD Shield when it's marketed outside. They kind of jump back and forth, but basically they tell us about some of their trial results, and then they talk about this research service agreement between Golden Mountain Partners, which is a company in China, and they had a couple different levels to this. They had the original, and then they had a addendum supplement. They call it GMC Research Supplement. Anyway, there's supposed to be 50-50 profit sharing in a lot of words that aren't very clear, like what the heck is Covey Field? They use this term on a global basis, so it's not exactly clear based on this. It looked like there was some kind of agreement for the development of this pipeline for all of the drugs. You can see them all listed here in China, but then there's these other phrases stuck in here on a global basis. So they don't quite give us everything that I feel that I would want to know. Like, there's this joint venture company that's going to be owned 50% by Oncotelic, 50% by GMP, and that, like here, principal activities will be to research, develop, and bring to market and commercialize. Point 1, the GMP agreement products, we assume that's everything in the pipeline, in the COVID field, no one knows what that term is supposed to mean, on a global basis. Point 2, or item number 2, Same thing, OT101 for the oncology field, as well as these other two products that are in development, each in Greater China. So, if this is anywhere in the world and this is in Greater China, what's the point of the second one? Maybe they're restricted as far as the oncology treatment. But anyways, they can't sell that globally. You'll see some other agreements they have, some things back in 2020, but we get very little information about how Litchfield Hills is coming up with some of these payments. So $500,000 expected 2021, $1 million in the third quarter, $1 million in fourth quarter. So I think at the end of the 2021 they expected negative EPS. Wasn't that what they told us? And then, sorry, I went too fast. 3 cents negative EPS 2021 was their estimation, and then 5 cents positive in 2022 based on 2 million, 2 million, 3 million, and 4 million. Where they are coming up with these numbers, I don't know. And I'm not going to say that those are valid numbers or not. Of course, you could run a DCF, a very conservative DCF, but where are the revenues coming from? They have this other agreement with this company called Oncotelic Bio, and so they have some June 2020. They're supposed to pay Oncotelic $500,000 upon Oncotelic's completion of the technology know-hows and whatever technical assistance, regulatory consultation, as determined by the preparation of current good regulation practices, audit, or certified by the Food and Drug Administration, with a mutual goal to obtain marketing approval of the combined product. The combined product was RT101, OT101, and interleukin 2. You see that here. That's the combined product here. So combined product. What did they say? Combined product in the aforementioned territory. So $1 million upon receiving marketing approval of the combined product in any of these places: Japan, China, Brazil, Mexico, Russia, or Korea. And then $2 million from receiving marketing approval of the combined product in Germany, France, Spain, Italy, United Kingdom, so in Europe. And ATB paid the company a fee of $500,000 during the 3 months ended June 2020. But some of these other numbers, I can only imagine, are going to be coming from licensing with that Oncotelic that we were looking at. And like I said, you could research more, but 1, 2, 3, comma 1, 2, 3. Right here. Yeah. So, but I'm not even sure. So, I mean, it looks as though that these are going to be ongoing payments, because if you look at the Litchfield $4, price targets, you have these occurring multiple times, and then they're starting to become stacked upon each other. I mean, I don't see anything from them talking about the revenues from the, it's not even a prescription drug; it's just a drug supplement. So. I don't really know what the difference is between Artemisinin. There's different products that are similar, and here we are. But anyways, you would have to have some kind of obviously the company claims that they have a better formulation. But I think that's some of the things that you're going to have to sort through if you're going to buy into this company, because the devil is, kind of as we say, in the details.